This is Head Busting Boxing, and we are back in the house. And in this video, we're going to go back to the mid 90s, late 90s, and we're going to look back at a fighter that everyone had high expectations for. Everyone thought this guy could have been one of the great heavyweights of his time, and maybe even all time. And I'm talking about no other than Ike, the President Ibeabuchi. And to start this off right, we got to start in the mid 90s. Before he jumped on the scene, you had several great heavyweights jockeying for position to determine who was the best fighter of the 90s. And you had Evander Holyfield and Riddick Bowe. And at this point, Mike Tyson is in prison, and Evander Holyfield has taken over the heavyweight division, and Riddick Bowe is challenging him, and they had a beautiful, beautiful trilogy. And the first fight started it out, and with Bowe beating Holyfield. Then you had the rematch that was just as exciting, where Holyfield recaptured the heavyweight title, getting his revenge on Riddick Big Daddy Bowe. Then you had Iron Mike Tyson getting out of prison, and he recreated his terror on the heavyweight division from where he left off in the late 90s to the early 90s when he went to prison. And then you had the trilogy, the rubber match of the trilogy between Bowe and Holyfield, where Bowe, even though Holyfield was game, eventually knocked him out, something that no one would have seen coming considering how durable Evander Holyfield was. Then you had out of nowhere all of these young heavyweights: Michael Grant, Chris Byrd, Layman Brewster. You had the Klitschko brothers. You had David Tua, and you had Hasim Rahman. All of these fighters were looked at as major prospects to the throne, considering Tyson, Holyfield, Bowe, and Lewis were all getting old. And out of nowhere, and I mean out of nowhere, came this guy from Africa named Ike, the President Ibeabuchi.
From Lincoln, Nebraska, comes in with a record at 10-10. Well, look at there. Look at there. He's a smart fighter, and we're going to see if he finishes him off here in the first round. Most of his fights, his last 6 fights, have not gone further than 2 rounds. There he goes down for the second time.
Where's the next punch coming from, he's thinking. Wherever it's coming from, it's going to land. Oh, look at this. And there's no absolute disgraceful refereeing there. Why on earth he allowed Calvin Jones, who clearly wanted no champions up there with him?
Put together by matchmaker Bill Benton on heavyweight explosion. Good right though, lands from Ibeabuchi. And he's got Pickram hurt. Pickram dropped that left hand again, and he's going to get dropped on the floor, and down he goes. Cole picks up the count.
Despite running through his competition, Ibeabuchi was still a relatively unknown fighter in the heavyweight division, but his big break was soon to come when he landed a big fight with the #1 prospect in the heavyweight division at the time, and many thought to be the next Mike Tyson, David Tua. And Tua was definitely a knockout artist, and it wasn't hard to figure out why he was considered the next coming of Mike Tyson.
Referee Lou Filippo with the instructions for David Tua and Ike Ibeabuchi.
Okay, you had your instructions in the dressing room. Give me a good fight, shake hands.
Here we go.
12-round heavyweight fight between undefeated power-punching prospects. Ike Ibeabuchi, the great, lives out of Dallas.
Almost like
I mean, if you didn't know better, you'd think you didn't know they were going the distance. They were going in a long fight. And he's busy. He's very busy, which, you know, is by, you know, hyping up Tua, telling him you're doing real good. That's good, baby. I don't necessarily think that was a great round for him, but, you know, you want to keep motivation up. One thing I didn't like is that he asked him, how do you feel? I don't think you should ever ask a fighter, how do you feel? Because that leaves it open for a yes or no, good or bad answer. You should tell him he feels good. And
to see him at, Tua comes bearing in with a right hand and just goes over the top with a left hook.
His jab and his assortment of punches really stand out to me. He's impressive with that, but the jab is one of the better jabs I've seen.
I think that's really one of the things that's so left hook of his own. Tua now opens up with a left hook, and Ibeabuchi returns fire. Good stuff between two undefeated heavyweight prospects. Double left hook from Tua. Receives one in exchange.
Going 12, he hopes, not just with a professional fighter, but with a guy that's feared, that's proven that he has late round knockout power. So Ibeabuchi's going to have to stay sharp the whole 12 rounds. That's a lot to ask of a guy that's never been in there, not just the distance like that, but with any really top tier guys. Something that I think Tyson was very good at. A lot of comparisons have been made between Tua and Tyson, but the big difference is Tyson had those fast hands, and on the inside he had blistering combinations that he let go to the body. And Tua hasn't done that. I haven't seen that from him at all, really. He's more of a one-punch, two-punch type of guy, and that man
pressed early on. He's never given the judges any reason to get off his bandwagon. He stayed with it.
Oh, for sure. He's being consistent.
Everyone in the arena was stunned from what they were witnessing. Tua was highly touted, and Ibeabuchi was an unknown fighter.
All right, we're looking good, David. Now look, David, look. Baby, look. You got the punch, Tua. Look, you waiting too long with this guy. This guy trying to steal it. He's trying to steal the round from you at the last 30 seconds. Now that's what we working on, right? Okay?
All right, second down. Let's go. Let's go. Second down.
Ike Ibeabuchi still looking good. That big, physically imposing frame, 16-0. Taking on the power that Ibeabuchi would have been able to stay with this pace for this long, John Scully.
No, he's a big man, and he's fighting the best opponent of his career, the toughest opponent of his career, and he's quick. He's picked quite a fight to really step up his game and to show the world what he's all about. Now, I don't know if he has the experience or the confidence to do it, but now is the time when a guy with a jab like him is supposed to really start pumping that jab harder than he ever has in this fight or even in his career.
Ahead of David Tua, which is no easy task.
That's how Larry Holmes used to hit guys with the jab. It was noticeable. A lot of guys have good jabs, but they're not noticeable. This is the type of jab everybody in the audience must see it. He has not come back with the streamlined right hand behind it, which I think is a big mistake. I don't know why he hasn't done that, but he could bomb Tua with that if he really committed to it.
The short-term futures. Two undefeated prospects trying to forge ahead in this heavyweight division.
And this is a fight, if Ibeabuchi could win this, it would be very fair to say that the jab was the key weapon. Like the jab, this is a fight that illustrates what the jab can do or can't do for you. And at this point,
Ike, the president, Ibeabuchi, became a big player in the future of the heavyweight division. Now, as fast as he rose and as impressive as he was in the fight against Tua, it was trouble lurking up ahead. Right after the Tua fight, a couple months after that is, Ibeabuchi abducted the 15-year-old son of his former girlfriend and slammed his car into a concrete pillar on Interstate 35 north of Austin, Texas. According to Criminal Complaint, the boy suffered numerous injuries from the accident and will never walk normal again. The court concluded Ibeabuchi was trying to commit suicide, and he was sentenced to 120 days in jail after pleading guilty to false imprisonment. Ibeabuchi also paid a $500,000 civil settlement. Ibeabuchi developed a new persona based on his nickname, the President. At times, when he was being cherished or refusing to complete a simple requirement, such as attending a weigh-in, his handlers would appeal to the president's regal nature by convincing him it was the noble thing to do. There were times when he thought he was really a president. Boxing promoter and former HBO Sports executive Lou DiBella said he would get into these mental states where he insisted on people calling him the president. It was his alter ego, where I am the president, not of the United States, but maybe president of the world. Once Ibeabuchi wielded a knife during a dinner meeting in New York to discuss a possible 3-fight HBO deal. We were having a fine meal at the nice restaurant, promoter Cedric Kushner said, and mid-course, Ike picked up a big carving knife, slammed it into the table and screamed, "They knew it, they knew it. The belts belong to me. Why don't they just give them back?" That was a peculiar experience, Kushner said. That wasn't the type of conduct I expected to romance the guy from HBO. He, Ibeabuchi, was like a Viking. After 13 months of inactivity due to his sentencing, Ibeabuchi finally returned to the ring, and it was business as usual.
One thing to watch with Ibeabuchi is the fact that he hasn't fought in a year. And let's see how quickly he can shake that ring rust off.
He won a 12-rounder over David Tua, weighing 235 pounds on that day. He's up to 241 for this fight, but you can see he carries that weight very well. This is a very powerful build. 2 Golden Glove after he returned from an amateur, and they took him pro in Texas. You see Ray trying to counter that. Nice attack early on.
Well, he looked like Mike Tyson on that little sequence at the end there. He looked more like the other guy, made Ray look like Holyfield.
Ray out of Louisville, only 5'11". He looks even taller than that. 215 pounds. He's 33 years of age.
No offense, Andrew.
And there's that body to the left hook to the body. Ray. So a knockdown early on in round 1 here by Ibeabuchi.
And like Tyson, his favorite punch is the left hook.
There you see the big right hand. Ray is on the verge of going again. Referee Paul Cita is very cautious to see if Ray can take some more. Big right hand, right up the middle by. He goes after him in the corner. Ray trying to fight back. Ibeabuchi, boy, he's setting down on those punches now, John.
Well, drilling Ray with those straight right hands down the middle.
He's really nailing that right hand. The uppercut twice inside. Ray somehow survived for 35 seconds of the first round.
This fight doesn't have long to go there.
Paul Cena was stepping in.
From Nigeria, now fighting out of Dallas, goes by the name of the President, a nickname given to him in his Golden Glove days. Al, the problem with Ibeabuchi is he has 1 round of boxing in the last 14 months and 3 weeks. He has a big win on his resume, but is he a real player in the heavyweight landscape?
You know, I think he can be. The win he has that you referred to was over David Tua, who many thought at that point was the top pro prospect and really still is. So Ike Ibeabuchi let us know in that fight that he's capable of great things. He's a good guy tonight to work the ring rust off of, because the man he's facing, Everton Davis, is not a big puncher.
All right, Everton Davis is a man who comes in 1-4-1 in his last 6. He's lost his last 3, but he has been in against some name competition.
Yeah, the likes of Tim Witherspoon, Levi Billups, Kirk Johnson, and what he brings to this match is good defensive skills and the fact that he can stick around for a long time. But with his record of 13-10, for Davis, he's going to need to show some offense tonight just to get himself big matches in the future.
Oh, we have How, a guy born in Nigeria who's only 25 years of age, has the first name of Ike, gets the nickname the President, of course, in reference to President Eisenhower well before Ibeabuchi's time. Well, Ike was fighting in the Golden Gloves, and the fans started chanting, "We like Ike, we like Ike." And
Oh, my.
Ike didn't like that.
4, 5, 6.
Davis has not scored a win since December of 19. Ibeabuchi here in round 1.
Everton Davis, of course, going down with that big right hand.
Let him go, David.
Ibeabuchi with lots of power.
I just got something.
Well, you know, that happens. It's your only mistake in, I think, about 5 years of working together, so I think you're entitled to one.
Well, the
Ibeabuchi is trained by Curtis Coates, the former welterweight champion, one of the great guys in boxing. Usually when Ibeabuchi gets you, it's early. All 13 of his KOs have been inside 4 rounds, but then he's only been past 4 rounds 4 times.
He only passed round 8 twice. This one is a scheduled 10-round bout. So the reason why he only had the 1 round over the last nearly 15 months, he said he had some personal problems, which he would not elaborate on. Davis with a sort of falling
Number strong. He and Tua just, that was a wonderful bout of 2 good young heavyweights.
Began round number 3. Great body work by Ibeabuchi. Remember, he knocked down Davis, contrary to what I said in round number 1.
You know what? You know, we fixed that though, okay? What, as you look at the punches through 2 rounds, Ibeabuchi going at a pretty good pace. What is better in life than a heavyweight that throws combinations? Because not all heavyweights do. And that's what you really like to see in Ike Ibeabuchi. He puts his punches together. Even to the body. I mean, in this round, he's thrown almost exclusively to the body, and they're all in combination. Coates, of course, is a wonderful trainer and was a great champion. Telling Ibeabuchi, now you're doing well, but you need to be busier, and you need to really let loose with your punches in there. And they also told him the jab is way in, which is the one thing probably that for Ike Ibeabuchi. That's something totally bizarre.
Good body, Ibeabuchi.
There's a lot of holding now from Davis, and you'd easily see a point being deducted pretty soon. Not that that would matter. He's so far behind. I have every round for Ibeabuchi, and 2 of them are 2-point rounds. Love the body work he does. Man, and you know, the best thing is he does it in combination.
Oh, Davis is good feeling.
Wow.
And he goes. And Frank Cappuccino stops it.
Yeah, that's all, brother.
Davis is saying no.
Man, you're taking too many.
It's over. And the towel comes out of the ring, onto the ring.
After getting 2 knockout wins and shaking off the ring rust, Ike will be thrown into the ring with another highly touted heavyweight in Chris Byrd, a fighter who many considered knockout proof, and you will see why.
Thrill it must have been for this man to fight for his dad on the Olympic team in 1992, but look at the weight at which he fought in 92, Larry.
A middleweight moving up to heavyweight today is remarkable. There have been middleweights who have moved up in the past, given the size of today's heavyweights, but as you can see, this is a family business.
And Roy pointed out, of course, the David and Goliath factor that operates for Byrd when he goes against a big puncher, as was the case December 13, 1997, against Jimmy Thunder in Ledyard, Connecticut. Thunder trying to land a knockout blow and being at first frustrated and then humiliated by Byrd's continued attack.
Well, there's certainly entertainment value in this volley if you can get up against some of those giant, ponderous heavyweights.
Very unusual training camp for Ibeabuchi. He had a scuffle with a sparring partner, his only sparring partner. He had 2 different trainers, maybe 3.
But the important one was with the sparring partner because he cut him over his left eyelid. We looked closely, couldn't see much there. We don't know if it'll be a factor tonight or not.
And a closer look at the president, Ike Ibeabuchi.
He's been here for 6 years training to become an important heavyweight. Big win over Tua. Lives with his mother, who is a nurse. They moved from Dallas to Phoenix after the incident we described before.
And as Larry told you during the punch stat graphic, Ibeabuchi set a record June 7, 1997, throwing more punches in a 12-round bout than any heavyweight ever charted by CompuBox. And they were power punches for the most part as he put together combinations all night long against the hard-hitting Tua. It'll be hard to duplicate something like that against Chris Byrd.
There is a big thing in any sport, but you have to be able to plug it in. Can Ibeabuchi plug his power into the elusive Byrd?
And Roy, you spoke a lot in the last fight about the difficulties Cole created himself by adding so much weight to become a heavyweight. Chris Byrd fought at 165 in the Olympics and made a calculated business decision to become a heavyweight. So he's packed on a lot of weight, but he hasn't overdone it. He fights at 208 3/4.
So he's done it to perfection. He did it just right. He didn't put on too much. He didn't do it too quick, and he did it at the beginning of his professional career.
Ibeabuchi, for his part, says, I'll beat Byrd the same way Foreman beat Moorer. I said, yeah. And Ibeabuchi so far has shown more patience than his critics might have thought he would. And now he rushes forward and starts swinging to try to get at Byrd after Byrd landed a couple of shots to the body.
He's got to punish him when he gets into those close situations.
Byrd ducking, slipping. There's a temptation for opponents to think that Byrd can't hurt them. But as Jimmy Thunder found out, anybody over 200 pounds can pack a wallop in the right situation.
See, what he should be doing there is hitting him on the arms, hitting him any place he can get to him.
Very good point, Larry. He should
the whole first round without throwing any right-hand leads. Right-hand leads are the common weapon of choice for a conventional fighter fighting against a southpaw, and there's one right there.
And he ought to be roughing him up right in here. Make him pay. Feel that his eyes see everything and react instantly.
Well, Byrd grew up training, the story's been told many times, in an indoor, downstairs, 12 by 12 foot basement gym in his home in Flint, Michigan. And it's there that he learned the style of standing against the ropes, tempting the opponent in, and then making the opponent miss. Byrd is a defensive fighter who's comfortable against the ropes. It's kind of a constant rope-a-dope. When you got a guy who's elusive in the head, as Byrd is, then one textbook move is to go to the body, and Ibeabuchi has shown some of that in the first couple of rounds. Pounds Byrd back with a right to the chest. Just misses with a left. Ibeabuchi starting to tee off and swing wildly, but now the right-hand lead lands for him.
I don't know, Larry. Go in there and get hit with one of them and see if you still think that way. They look like pretty good punches to me. Good right-hand lead.
Excellent. On target against the constantly moving Chris Byrd. Ibeabuchi showing head movement too. Hard right hand lands for Ibeabuchi and punctuates round 2.
You know, I've got to admit a certain prejudice here. There are times when I watch Byrd, if I was a referee, I'd want to take a point away from him for non-performance. This is a lot of junk is what he's giving us here.
But Larry, it's called the manly art of self-defense.
Well, I don't see anything manly about this.
Well, when you give it away 30...
Which is not to say I don't know what you're saying, Larry.
This is professional prize fighting.
Good body shots by Ibeabuchi. Byrd comes back to the body himself, but Ike has him cornered here and is doing some excellent work. Oh, a hard right hand lands upstairs for Ibeabuchi. And he just misses with another. But that first right hand may be one of the hardest shots that Chris Byrd's ever taken.
But he took it well.
For Chris Byrd, we'll find out tonight what he's really made of. He's never had to take these type of punches this early in a heavyweight fight.
Byrd gets in a right-hand shot and momentarily halts Ibeabuchi's momentum. But now Ibeabuchi works as Byrd goes back to the ropes, and Ike is remarkably accurate. It's not going to show up in CompuBox numbers because it's so hard to land against Byrd anyway. But very few fighters have made contact on Chris Byrd that close.
Quick hands for the big guy.
Good left hook, Ibeabuchi. Another good left hook. And a third.
Nice quick Chris Byrd, I believe. Yeah.
And Byrd is wounded.
Crowd loves it.
29-28, 2 rounds to 1. Ike Ibeabuchi. Jim, what you're judging in this fight is at the end of the round who did more damage. You can't get fooled by Byrd's histrionics. You just got to look at it and say who did more damage. So far, Ike did it in rounds 2 and 3.
Is Ike going to get exhausted trying to chase Byrd all the time like this, Roy?
I don't know if he could by throwing all these big punches, but be reminded here.
We thought Ibeabuchi might wear down against Tua because of the extraordinarily high work rate. He only seemed to get stronger in the late rounds of that fight. He's got some wellspring of energy that is truly special.
Teddy is post as he is with his post in the corner with his fighter. Welcome aboard, Teddy.
Thank you, guys.
Interesting fight here. Ibeabuchi fighting a nice disciplined fight against Byrd. Is that the way you have to fight him?
Yeah, you sure do. I mean, Byrd's the kind of guy that you have to be disciplined with. He's real slick. He moves his head. He wants you to do things that...
Would you let Kurt Johnson fight this Byrd?
I don't know.
If you didn't have to?
Not if I didn't have to. I mean, he's got to learn to be consistent with his ability. He has ability, but you don't get up there and people don't hand things to you just because you have ability. You have to be disciplined. You have to use that ability within a certain vehicle, and you have to be consistent with it. He's going to learn that.
You surprised at how often Ibeabuchi is finding Byrd here?
Yeah, well, not really. He's steady. You know, you need to be steady against Byrd. You have to be a guy who's not going to be BS, and you got to go to the body a lot because he wants you to go to the head. You got to go the opposite of what he wants.
Far very much preparing for this fight at all. Some fighters these days don't believe in sparring a lot, and Ibeabuchi is one of them. Right hand shot by Ibeabuchi in retaliation in the middle of the ring.
Fortunately for Byrd, it just missed him. You know, we were talking about the cut before. The importance of a cut in a fight like this, which can be very difficult to score, is that it shows graphically to the judges that one guy has been hurt with something.
Ibeabuchi with a monster left hook, followed it up to the right, and Byrd for the second time in his career goes down. Trying to argue with the referee, Ron Roll, but come on, Chris, you got busted.
Oh, boy, very bad. He doesn't even know where he is right now. He can't even keep his balance. He's hurt bad. He's hurt bad.
Round ticking down. 15 seconds left. He might make it out of the round. Here comes Ibeabuchi.
He'll never make it out of this round, John.
Hard left hook. Oh, they can stop it. They can stop it right now.
What is Byrd hollering for?
Stops it. Run roll stops it. Ike Ibeabuchi has knocked Chris Byrd out.
A sensational victory for Ibeabuchi, and shame on Chris Byrd, who was arguing.
Ibeabuchi does in knocking out a man who was regarded as knockout proof. Here's the first knockdown, Roy. Here's the first knockdown, and check out this left hook. There's the right.
Was it the right or the left?
Well, the left set it up. The right was just as flush. Here's another look from a different angle. Boom.
Oh, yes, it was the left uppercut.
Yeah,
oh,
the left uppercut. From that point on, Byrd was gone.
Yeah, Byrd was really out of it right there. He was totally done.
Yep, I call.
Ibeabuchi had done what no one thought could be done by knocking out Chris Byrd. Now, if you didn't take him serious after the David Tua fight, you had to take him serious after the knockout of Chris Byrd. Now, the stage was set. He was definitely considered one of the top prospects, if not the top prospect or contender to be the next heir to the throne. Following the Byrd win, Ibeabuchi turned down $700,000 to fight French contender Jeremy Williams, and also turned down a $1 million prize for a showdown with undefeated Michael Grant, who later on went on to lose to Lennox Lewis. But despite popularity growth and the fact that he showed that he definitely belonged in the upper echelon of the heavyweight division, everything was soon to come crashing down. In July of 1999, Ibeabuchi was staying at the Mirage Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas when he phoned a local escort service and had a woman sent to his room. The 20-year-old woman said later she was there to strip and nothing else. She claimed Ibeabuchi attacked her in the walk-in closet after she demanded to be paid up front. Ibeabuchi barricaded himself in the bathroom and police discharged pepper spray under the door until he surrendered. Ibeabuchi's legal defense faced the further difficulty of the Clark County DA's reopening of a similar sexual assault allegation against him from 8 months earlier, which took place at Treasure Island Hotel Casino. Ibeabuchi was released on bail and placed under house arrest. Unable to train and fight again until his trial, he was remanded after 2 more similar allegations surfaced from Arizona. Ibeabuchi was deemed incompetent to stand trial and was sentenced to a state facility. Medical experts concluded his exhibited bipolar disorder, and a judge granted permission to force medicate him. 8 months later, 2.5 years after his arrest, he was ruled cognate enough to plead. Ibeabuchi subsequently entered an Alford plea, pleading guilty while not admitting guilt to avoid going to trial. Ibeabuchi was sentenced to 2 to 10 years for battery with intent to commit a crime, from which he was later paroled, and 3 to 20 years for attempted sexual assault, with the sentences to be served consecutively. While incarcerated, Ibeabuchi earned 3 college associate degrees from Western Nevada Community College in General Studies, Business, and Management. He also earned a paralegal certificate by correspondence from Blackstone Career Institute in Allentown, Pennsylvania. His Las Vegas conviction was overturned by the Nevada Supreme Court in 2007, and he expected to be released, but the lower courts abandoned the ruling. The Nevada Supreme Court subsequently affirmed its earlier ruling of its overturning of Ike Ibeabuchi's Las Vegas conviction again, and Ibeabuchi is still fighting for his innocence to have his name cleared after his release. Ibeabuchi completed his sentence in Nevada Department of Corrections. However, Ibeabuchi was moved in Nevada to the Washoe County Jail on February 28, 2014, and then transferred by United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement to the Eloy Detention Center in Eloy, Arizona. Ibeabuchi was released by USCIS in November 2015 as a free man when Nigeria declined to provide travel documents. Ibeabuchi enlisted the help of Mike Combs, an advisor of Manny Pacquiao. In an attempt to make a boxing comeback in good health, Ibeabuchi hoped to fight his first comeback bout in the near future, but was waiting to resolve his immigration and United States citizenship status with the USCIS. First, his green card and citizenship papers were applied for in good standing and in order. However, in April 2016, Ibeabuchi was arrested for violating the conditions of his probation in Gilbert, Arizona. Based on an old warrant dating back to 2003, he was unaware of. Ibeabuchi, who remained on lifetime probation in Arizona, had failed to begin a long ago required state treatment program based on the warrant. Ibeabuchi is being held until September 29th of 2019 by Arizona and will complete supervision on April 25th, 2020, at which time he will be 47 years old, at which time he will then face a detainer issued February 16, 2018 by the United States Immigration, Customs, and Enforcement. So, any plans of a comeback for Ike Ibeabuchi probably will not happen. And to be honest with you folks, this is one of the saddest stories I've seen in boxing, because you're talking about a man who had so much potential. I personally remember him as being a complete fighter. I guess mental illness. That's the best way I can put it. Just mental illness. That's what it sounds like to me. Definitely he had some screws loose or something. But just to look back and think what could have been, all I can do is shake my head. Well, anyway, this is Head Busting Boxing Fight Doctor. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button, hit me up in the comment section and let me know what you think about the video. Do you remember Ike Ibeabuchi? And if not, you know, hopefully this was an introduction to the man and the myth, because I mean, anybody that remember him will tell you straight out, he was probably one of the better heavyweights coming out of, you know, the heavyweight division in the late 90s, and everybody, I mean everybody, thought he had greatness ahead of him. But anyway, this is Head Busting Boxing Fight Doctor. I am